Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ. You're there, and I'm here, and you're listening to the Heartfelt Truth. Welcome. Let me start off by saying, as I always do, that I hope my voice finds you in good health, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not necessarily in that order, but all equally important to help us through this thing we call life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me start off real quick by saying thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come into your life for the next few minutes. I hope you find my voice somewhat inspirational, a little motivational, and just gives you another way of looking at things. And with that being said, let's move right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I get so excited. You know me. I say it all the time. Please don't get tired of me saying it. But I get excited of talking to you fine people here and around the world. And whoever decides to stop in on LBJ, I just like to say thank you, as I do always, because I am so grateful. And for you new people that just stopped in, hey, welcome. And I'm so serious about that. Let me share something with you real quick. I actually, and my other gig, I do have the opportunity, and I say it so many times. I know you guys are saying, well, what the heck does he do for, in his other gig? And we'll share that down the road. But what happens is this here. I get the opportunity to be around a bunch of talented young people who really just blow my mind every day about the things they do. There's music and theater and academics, the whole spectrum of young people and what they're doing. And I go to battle for them all the time. I tell people I defend them. Kids are going to be kids and young people, and they're growing. And as adults, and we're trying to grow. Look at this. We're trying to get to a certain place, a certain level in our lives. And it is also our responsibility to bring them, into the fold. So it's like a double duty. And I welcome the challenge. I really do. So here's what happened. I walked in the other day, and a young man, let's call him Jack. I actually think his name is Jack. Jack, he sees me and he yells out and he goes, "Hey, LBJ, I listened to your podcast last night." And I was like, "Okay, what'd you think?" And he goes, "Oh my God, it was good." He says, it made me feel better. And I was like, I started laughing and giggling like a teenager that they are. And I said, "Well, thank you." And he says, just keep doing what you're doing. So that was really, it's always nice when people recognize the things that you're doing. And I don't do this for accolades, people. I do it because it's like friends, It's like I get down, and let me tell you something, people. I've said it before. This is for you. It's for me. And we get on here. I get on here, and I share some of my thoughts, my dreams, and aspirations, and all those things. And I share them with you like you're a friend. It's like we're having this conversation. I don't want to come in here and bombard you with a bunch of statistics and numbers and analytics and all. Let's just live, down to the basics, And there's all the basics. You want to live a good life. You want to be a good person. You want to be respectful. You want to, love and take care of yourself and your families and your friends. These things are important. I don't know how many times, it's kind of weird. And let me go off on a tangent for a second. Every time I sit around and I say, I want to do another show, and I find myself writing down notes and looking at books and articles and things, and I say to myself, well, what do you want to share today? And I find myself getting kind of caught up and tied into the fact that there are thousands of people who are trying to share the same message. And that's great. I am not one to sit down and everybody do your thing, man. And if you can help me, and I can help someone else, it's a home run. And I mean that so sincerely. So what happens is I get caught up and I say, well, this guy, he's doing this and he's doing that. He's got a message. And I might have said this before, they got a strong team behind them. They got all these things going on. And there's little old me. And, he's sitting in his little makeshift studio here doing his thing and trying to share a message and talking to you fine people here and around the world like we're best buds, like we're BFFs. And that's okay for me. Because I know for a fact that, if someone comes up to me and says, I listened to your podcast last night, and he said, and I was listening to it and I became relaxed and I fell asleep. I was like, at one point I said to myself, well, was it that boring? But they said, no, it just put me at ease. It was just conversation, like talking to a friend. And that's so important, to sit down and have a conversation with a friend. Now, mind you, I mean, I don't talk, I try not to get into the politics, religion and all that. I'm just talking about the bare essentials of being a human being. And I might have said it before, and if I have, you guys who've been listening to me for a while understand. Here's the deal. There's so many things in this life that we're not born with. I had this conversation the other day with someone. I mean, there are so many little intangibles that we're not born with. You're not born with, let's say, we're not born with hate. Okay? You're not born, I don't like this, I don't like that. I mean, we're just human beings. And the fact of the matter is that if you see someone lying on the ground, now this might be an exaggeration, and I hope and pray it never happens to anybody or you have to experience that, but if you see someone lying on the ground, your basic instinct is to help them. And even if you don't have the skills or the knowledge of what to do, you are going to get somebody who can. No? I mean, so what I'm saying is we're all human beings, and the fundamental feelings that we have as human beings is to look out for one another. I think. Now, I'm not saying we got to walk around, in some state of fog and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all that kind of stuff. For you people who know what that song is, I mean, come on. But we're human beings, and what I'm doing is just trying to spread a message of respect and love, and try to understand each other. So, and as I sit around, so again, I probably did go off on a tangent a little bit. So I get caught up in terms of, what do I talk about today? So I'll give an example. Somewhere here on the East Coast, I heard it on the radio in New York City, there's something about like a coffee festival or something going on today. We can go by and taste all these different coffees. And I was like, you're talking right up my alley. I would love to be there. I'm a coffee nut. Actually, but what I did today? I said, you know what? I'm a 2-cup guy. So I had my 2 cups, but I said, wow, it's a coffee festival. That deserves another half a cup. So I actually had another half a cup of coffee. So I'm a 2.5 cup guy today. Oh, that's so funny. I make myself laugh. But anyway, so, I want to backtrack a little bit. And I was walking around and I was talking to young people yesterday. And they were, and I'm not saying that for the accolades. It's really not. I mean, I appreciate them. And I tell guys to reach out for me on my Facebook, my Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. And just, if you got thoughts, share on my website. Just reach out. I mean, that's just what it's all about. But someone asked me a question yesterday, and they were talking about how, they have these goals and dreams and stuff. And I've heard it. You've heard it. It's nothing new. But here's the deal. If you have goals and you have dreams and things that you want to do, things you want to accomplish, if you take no action, towards these goals and dreams and things you want to do, that's all they are. Goals and dreams without actions, that's all they are, goals and dreams. But when you take a little action towards that, the dynamic of the whole thing changes. All right? Because now you can see yourself in it. I heard someone say something just the other day. They were talking about buying a house. And they were saying, you know what? I'm the back and forth, him and his wife. They were like hemming and hawing about it. What do I do? And the woman said, you know what? Let's go check it out. And she goes, and we'll make our decisions on what to do in terms of purchasing this property. Now, what happens is once you go and see it, once you put yourself in it, then it becomes real. And that's happened to me a couple of times in my life. Like for example, there was a certain car that I wanted, and for no other reason, no status symbol, it's just like something that I've always wanted to experience. And so I went to the car dealer. I sat in the car. I looked at the interior. I looked at it online. It's like a dream board. And eventually, it becomes real for you. And if you have those goals and dreams, eventually, I believe that it'll happen for you. I really do. So what I'm saying is, I think if you put yourself in that space, all right, and you have these goals and dreams and you take action towards that, then it will materialize for you. I believe that in my heart of hearts. And that's it. Now, the one other thing I want to get to, and this is kind of important. You know what I find myself doing? I find myself, when I want to sit down and I want to share something with you, find people here and around the world, and I want to definitely, just talk to you guys. For a few moments, I find a quiet space, and I just calm myself, my mind, and everything, and just be quiet and be still. Now, sometimes I turn on a little meditation music or whatever, but I'm telling you, this is important because you don't realize that once you take time to be quiet, your body and your mind sit down and they start to clean itself out. They just alleviate all the stress and all the information that's coming in and out and boom, and bam, and boom, and bam. And you go, so I love being quiet. I really do. I mean, I found myself that it definitely does something for me, and it helps you to sit down to readjust and move forward. And that's important. And I'm talking about it on all kinds of things, not just dreams and goals. I'm talking about problems. I'm talking about situations. I mean, how many times have you heard someone, if you get into an argument with, let's just say someone you care about, and you're having words, and definitely by no means physical, but you're having words, you walk away. And the walking away is that moment of quiet. So you get to gather yourself, and your mind just releases all that. It just like recirculates itself. It's like, reboot. And that's where the quiet is. So quiet is amazing. If you get a chance, just really try this. Go off somewhere, and I don't say go into a closet. I really wouldn't want you to do that, but go somewhere where you can find complete quiet and be with yourself and see what it does for you. I mean, it will make a world of difference, and you'll start seeing things in a different way, and then you incorporate that with a little exercise. And I sound like I'm preaching. Just incorporate a little exercise. You're mentally, physically, and spiritually you'd be surprised at the results. And later on, I really do. I'm gonna sit down, and I'm sure I say it all the time, but I mean that in my heart of hearts. Mentally important, physically very important, and spiritually, they all tie into one thing. And we'll talk about that another time. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, please take care of yourself. Take care of your families, because family is important. And if you see someone that needs a helping hand, try it out. Stick your hand out and help them, if you can. I'm sure this one thing really, really will make the world a better place. And it's going to help you on your journey to becoming the best person that you were meant to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LBJ. You're there, and I'm here. And you've been listening to The Heartfelt Truth. We will talk again.